start?
Well, I start off my pre-made little thing.
Speech.
Yeah, well, here's what we're doing. Monday night, we had a presentation by the budget officer on the tentative budget. And we went through his whole budget, and we went through it basically department by department. Now, like you know, the finance committee has 20 days to review the tentative budget and pass forward their recommendation to the full board. So we're here tonight to hear your pitch on your budget and ask questions. We're not here to cut or to increase, but we're here to listen and try to understand and then make recommendations to the full board. So having said that, let's start on your budget.
I'm going to sound like a broken record because when I read the paper, basically the same thing I'm going to tell you. Staff and equipment.
Well, in part, the other part of it was, Mike, that it's often asked out in the public, what is it we pay the taxes for in the county? You know what I mean? So this was a chance for everybody. I mean, obviously, yours is very high profile, so most people know what you do, you know, and know the functions that you have. They may not know it in depth, but at least they know that you exist. They may not know that we do scales, you know what I mean, with Nick Bartosik. They may not know the extent that, or we even do probation. They may think the state does probation. But you know, with your department, it's very visible because you're out there. So they know you, and they basically know what you do. So we don't have to get into the kind of depth on what does 911 do, you know what I mean? So we can go through the main points that of differences in it, and then at least give us your reasoning behind it.
Well, what I've had planned on doing, Dominic, was going through the changes that we've seen in our tentative budget.
Okay.
Them. If you have any questions, ask me. I'm more than, the sheriff, I'm more than happy to explain what we're doing or what we'd like to do, and if there's anything changing in the future, we'll let you know. So what I planned on doing is going through almost all the lines that we've seen that were cut or altered. And I don't think it's going to really take that long
Okay.
to do. All right.
So we're on page 24 for everybody. We're on the start.
In my budget and my revenues, about the only thing I questioned was Sean had increased my revenues by over $51,000 in 911. I don't know what you did there, Sean. And this is nothing against Sean, but this is a major problem. We do our budget, we submit our budget, a tentative budget comes out, and we have no input in it prior to him doing a tentative budget. Maybe some of these cuts wouldn't be as drastic or wouldn't be there if he knew what I was doing. I don't know where that $51,450 came from. I have no idea.
Well, I don't want to get into exchanges, but you know, I think if we look at, I think what happens is if you look at 2012, it looks like we took in 168,000. So it would just seem logical that it would be similar.
I was told many years ago by the treasurer then that you can only put in the revenue what you're going to spend, not more than what you're going to bring. You know, you're not going to bring in 150,000 and only spend 50,000.
Okay.
I can simply explain it. What that number is, it's the combination of the 911.4s, the .2s, and $50,000 towards salaries.
50-foot salary?
Yes.
Which
Last year we applied 60 gross. We applied 60 gross towards salaries.
I applied $10,000 for salaries in my budget last year. And that's what I wrote in this budget packet too. $10,000 was right in that line item when I wrote it. You can see it. It's broken down to where that money goes to. $10,000 for salaries.
Okay.
So question.
It was, wait, hold on a second. Is his in the backup?
Yeah, his whole packet that he provided me starts on page 135 and 150. 161. Everything that he provided me was provided to all the board.
Yeah, no, I see that. I just, how the 109 is arrived at, and how the 160 that you put in is arrived at.
My formula is based on 911, the money we bring in for 911, I can't use all that money to pay for that center. It's against the law. Because we don't handle just 911 calls there, we handle everything else under the sun. So you gotta take a percentage of what you do there and say that's 911 related. So every line is not all gonna get paid for out of 911 money because it's not related to 911. Like the uniforms. Uniforms are not 911 required.
All right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I understand what you're saying. Can you provide us, because we're the ones going to put the recommendation for it, how you arrived at the 109?
If, Sean, you gave him a copy of that packet, so I do it.
Yeah, we
Would I
got,
hand write in there, and would I just put the address next to it, saying this is for 911? You give that for it?
it could be. There's handwritten,
I do my little notes on there, and one of the notes I do is, for that budget, I'll put an asterisk on the side.
yeah, there's an asterisk on
Page
this.
2, well, page 2 is the budget I got. And I wrote, put an asterisk equals 911, and all the things that should be paid for out of 911 are asterisked on the side, so Sean knows that's where that money's
All right,
coming
so
from.
we'll have to put that
And
together.
that matches 109.
All right. Can you put that together for us on a sheet of paper? Send it to us.
You don't have this piece.
I've got this, I've got the book, and I've got the 109, and I've got the asterisks, I've got the backup, I've got this backup here.
Yeah, that's not the one I'm talking about. I get my budget, like, what, 4 pages, 5 pages with my packet.
She's gonna look for it as we go. All right, Sean, can you provide us with the 160, how you arrived at it? All right, so that we'll move on.
But
She's gonna look
that's the
for it.
story there.
Okay.
And again, we might not be sitting here discussing this matter if that's
All right.
going to put back in the budget like it used to be. Okay, we're going to appropriations in the sheriff's office. I had 3 deputies in there.
Can I still talk about revenue?
Oh, yeah.
It looks like you're not gonna get the prison because you have a formula based on 700,000. Right here. 700,000 is down.
We'll come real close to what we have budgeted this year. It's going to be might be a little low, but it'll come close. You got to remember too, it goes into next year, our revenues for this year. Because the feds don't pay us. They're behind all the time.
We're just erring on the side of caution with that because at some point, the Herkimer inmates are going to stop. So there really is no formula because there's no way of knowing whether you get 5 or 10.
But you're satisfied with that, 7?
Yeah, and the other reason why I reduced it to 7 is because the feds are trying to pass, change the laws for their drug arrests, where they won't be sending them to prison or jail anymore to save money. They're doing like the Rockefeller law change. So we get more of the state prisoners in county jail now, so the state doesn't get them. And the feds are doing it so they don't have to house more feds anymore. So I'm looking at that trickle down where we're going to lose some feds maybe next year. Any other questions on the record?
So you fit in that one.
We moved the appropriations, I had put 3 deputies in, and I know it might be shocking, but our workload is unbelievable. And when you have the amount of, we'll back up, we lost 7 deputies, as you know, over the last 2 years. That's a good chunk of my people. When you have a road patrol, and then you have all these other duties you have to do besides the road patrol, we don't have enough people. If you get 1 or 2 people out, that affects everybody. I've come back here 2 years in a row now for overtime money, because we're using our people more in overtime. And as you know, we just had a flood and a train derailment. And this happens every time we have one of these incidents. My people have to work road patrol, they have to do their regular duties when it comes to the court and transports, and on top of that, they're handling flood stuff. So we have people working overtime. They get burned out after a few days because they work 12-hour shifts on the road, and they're working extra overtime on these other projects that are going on. I don't have enough staff to, if these incidents lasted over 2 weeks at full bore, my people would be burned out. I'd have to bring other people in here from another county, ask them to come down and help.
Mike, did you say the 3?
I put in for 3.
How do you see two? I can't see.
We only asked for 2.
I'm looking for a third.
I can't find 3.
I can find 2.
I can only find 2.
484 and 922.
On your backup, you.
921 and
484.
484.
I'm sorry, that's what I put in for 3.
All right? So that was it, that was the 2, right? Mike?
Where'd you put it?
68.
All right.
Even if.
I think 68 got filled, if that's one of the ones.
Right, the letter might be wrote, it says replace 2 of the 7 deputies that were lost.
Okay, okay.
Okay. All right, we're all set there?
Okay. All I would ask is that you entertain an idea of at least hiring 1 or 2 because the workload is just too much. Any questions on that? Next thing is,
How many road patrol do you have?
20 with the plainclothes investigators and the sheriff and I.
and one of those works in the school, Amsterdam,
Paid by us?
Amsterdam,
Yeah.
Mass. When they work at the school, they get paid by the school for everything.
Okay.
When they work for us, they get paid for the town. So it's not full. Overtime. Overtime for road patrol, 2012, see we use 104,000. And so far this year, we're up to 102. And we're pretty much out of that money you gave me already. We're going to try to steal whatever money we can that's left in the budget to get to the end of the year. We've had a couple of people leave recently, some other salary adjustments that we'll be able to take money out of. But we're going to do the best we can to get to the end of the year. Just, you know, that's a line that, so like I said, the last 2 years I've come back to you on because it's always just been underfunded and I have less staff. And I have to make my staff that's working work overtime.
Is that 9, 12, 12?
That's yeah, 12 line.
It says here 70. You requested 70? Maybe I'm looking at the wrong page, page 26? Herb, is that what you got?
Yeah.
Yes, we requested 70, it was knocked down to 65.
You're satisfied with 70?
Well, that's
Well,
not.
I know you're not satisfied, but you put it there.
Yeah.
Okay. You dropped
I
it
mean,
by 5.
that's more than we had before.
Okay.
You know, it's not what we need, but you know,
Well,
I'm not trying. You know, I could put 120,000 in there. I know I'm not going to get it.
it's 5,000.
Then we move on to the cars. I think everybody who knows the status of our cars, our patrol cars.
The part-time deputies, you're content with that?
I was going to talk about it.
25 to 75. The reason the part-time deputies was bumped up is because we anticipated having to send 2 people to school next year. We've been trying to send 1 a year to stay with the curve of losing people. and it's caused us trouble. We have a vacancy right now that we're trying to fill. We have one school, and the possibility exists for us to lose another one to the city of Johnstown. So just trying to keep our minimum staff levels, we try and stay ahead of the curve. One person in the school is approximately 20,000, and that's on a part-time basis. School's 7 months long per person.
And then part-time is hard to keep because they make less than the county clerk practice in the county. So why waste your time here and go into the county and make more?
The more part-time we can utilize, the less overtime that it costs. But it's not a perfect situation, a perfect world, because it is hard to keep.
Okay. The cars, I don't know if you've got the letter I sent you. The cars, most of the cars that we have that do road patrol have 200,000 miles on them each. And like I said, if you told me, yeah, you would replace the cars right now, by the time we got the new cars, we'd have 300,000 miles on the cars. We're in tough shape with cars. With our patrol cars, red and whites that you see out there. Our unmarked cars or their lease cars, we're okay with those. Whatever your consideration would be, or any suggestions that you might have. That's from the equipment for the car. Oh, if we lose the car, and the next one is the technical equipment, Sean took about $1,000 or so out of there, and that probably is the equipment for the car. The next we have is 4422, the equipment lease and rental. If you have that paperwork where I break down those lines, I believe you do, it's broken down to what each line's paid for, my lease cars, my repairs. That money would come out of the repair for the cars at $10,000. And this year we put several transmissions in cars at a cost of $1,800 a transmission. So, you know, we might have issues there. Any questions on that? Next line we had 4441, which is gas. So that's been knocked down, and every year, you know, we have to find money for that again. And right now, this year, we've spent almost $64,000 in gas for the last month of the money that was budgeted. Next is
You don't get much to go on.
we keep trying to find pennies here and there in the budget to move. So, if not, I'll be coming back to you. The next is we will go to the civil division, the civil budget. And in that budget, there's the software line. And then one item in there is $47,285. That's for software and the maintenance on that system.
What is
The
the
training.
software? What is the software?
Company's name is Softco, and the software is basically an accounting software for the civil division. Right now, we're using an in-house product that was developed through data in my civil office. And for 10 years almost, I've been promised a system that will work, and the system doesn't work.
You discussed this with Dan?
Excuse me?
You discussed this with Dan?
Dan knows about this, yes.
And you say it doesn't work?
Yeah. There is functions in the system, and I guess it's pretty much what we have to work with right now is either the software or hardware that the county has that we have to work with, not my office, the county's data department, that doesn't allow us to do certain functions that we need to do. So the girls have to write stuff down in little cards to keep the information. if we have a check that's no good or something, I believe they can't void it out, Sean, is that the way that works? They can't void the checks out, or, it's all screwed up. And they have to work around the system all the time manually to get it done. And we just had the audit in this year, and she laughed at the system that we use. She says, you're getting it done, but you're doing 10 times the work, and there's a lot more chance for mistakes.
That's a lot of money for software.
That company is in almost all the offices, civil offices in New York State, so they ask the premium price.
Yeah, Bill.
Is there a lease purchase plan available for that software? Or is it spread it over 4 or 5 years?
You know, I don't remember because I asked for this same product about 6 years ago for the board. At that time, it was $35,000 for the whole package, and it was turned down. I don't know if I asked them back then if they had lease. I can ask.
Pay a
I can
yearly
ask.
fee, you know what I mean? It might take a little bit of the sting out of it.
But this is a big liability thing. If we make a few mistakes, because they deal with over millions of dollars a year in bail and everything else, that is going to come back to bite us if there's a mistake.
And you're saying this can't be fixed?
Yes, Dan.
I put it there.
There's a lot of, if you have any questions about how the system works, you can contact my civil account chief, and she'll explain all the issues they have with the system right now. I know you've done accounting, right?
Sort of. But I use simple stuff. Well, they just bought that software package in the city that does everything. It was like 150, but it does everything. And, you got some other items in here for software too, I saw. I think it costs 114,000 or something.
Maybe the jail you're talking about.
Yeah, whatever.
But this is just for the civil office, and this, again, yes, 47,000 hit if we do go that way, but then after that, we're gonna pay for the maintenance, but the maintenance isn't cheap either, but that's what we'll be paying.
At least when you explained it.
I will check though, Supervisor Street concerning the lease bond.
Just a
See
thought.
if they do that. No other questions on that, I'll move to jail. The account clerk, part-time, say I put in the budget, that's line 854. That's for $10,040. Of that $10,040 right now, the inmates pay $3,500 a year. Ago, the phone alone was over $200 besides the service call. We're getting the phone off of Amazon for $67, and he'll install it, our guy. These are the things he's doing. We just got rid of a dark fiber line that we've had for quite a few years that data in our office has been paying for, $5,000 a year. We don't pay for it. He's changing things. He's a lot bigger. He's done different. We're saving money left and right. I have a lot of faith in this guy and what his plans are in jail.
A budget meeting in our office, he would physically show you what you want to see. These pieces.
I mean, even if it's just one of you want to come, we'll do it to one of you.
No, I was, if I look confused, it wasn't confused over the individual items a minute ago. It's I had like flashbacks to like when you gave the PowerPoint on the building.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because we're
Same situation.
Well, well, okay. What I see is similar, the similarities. The idea that it's the building is an active building that's 20 years old, going to be.
16 or 17.
Yeah.
But you figure 24/7, so triple that.
Yeah.
How much that building is.
And plus, you're talking about equipment that is used more than typical. So when we were looking at, because Bill and I were talking earlier, and it becomes the requirement of the next body, is that we need to isolate some things as capital projects You know what I mean? So those are those things that are longer term. And actually, the new charter requires the capital budget, which we haven't done, we haven't really used in years, not since I've been here anyways. I mean, we've had capital plans, never funded them. So, but it's gonna be required. So when in the future, when you look at your budget, you might be looking at what are annual expenses and what are capital costs. You know what I mean? Because if you look at Fulton County, they may look at your patrol car as a capital expense. And we've always treated it as an annual expense. All right? So there are differences in how the budgets will work out going forward.
Roll it over.
Okay.
You know, which does soften the effect if obviously if it's planned. And so that's why when you were talking about this stuff, I'm thinking about your PowerPoint.
That's what I looked at.
Similar item.
Well, just keep in mind that the stuff goes down, that this building has to be running. That means that I'm gonna come back to you and say, I need the money right now, and I gotta get this fixed. So give it to me, because it's an emergency, and the state's gonna say, you know, get it fixed or get the people out. Those are the constraints I got. So, but,
It's software here.
next thing,
66.
yeah, 4459 computer software.
What is that?
This is for software for the jail, for our camera system, and for our card swipe system, which opens the doors, and they use for a time clock when they walk around the building, required by the commission. You know, they gotta, every half hour, they have to do, what do you call it?
Security.
Security round. And the system that we have, all the software systems we have right now are original. The companies are not there anymore, we can't get parts for them. We were able to Band-Aid one system together for the time being, you know. You gotta pay for the stuff, you know. 16 years is a long time for software to be running and not have support. He's looking at creating, again, like I said earlier, a network, our own network, building a server. He is knowledgeable in the software. He worked in the outside for another company where he dealt with a lot of different people in the county deals with who have this software. He's gotten bids, and they're on state contract. So he's going to actually buy the equipment, install it, you know, and get it up and running. It's not going to be an outside person. And then again, like I had wrote in the letter, this is the initial purchase price, and after that, it's just soft, you know, any maintenance on the software after that.
And again, the answer with Bill, leaves over a period of time.
I can ask. The reason why I don't like leases because it costs so much.
But he's saying pay over a period of time. It doesn't have to be forever.
I looked at the card swipe system from a company 2 years ago, and they had lease, and the price of the system was $30,000 if we bought it up front. If we leased it, it was like $40,000. So we were paying another $10,000 over 3 years. And I said, that's ridiculous. Forget about it. I'm not doing it. I will ask on both of the issues and see what they say.
Okay, does anybody else got any questions for the sheriff? Any more points that you got?
Any more what?
Points that you got? That we're down to the end? Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
You're on the air tomorrow?
Just one thing, Mike, we couldn't find that 109 and the breakdown.
You want to photocopy?
Yeah, it's something, yeah, you can, I don't
Want
know.
me to photocopy, send it to
Yes,
Cheryl?
just, send it
Or I
to
can
Cheryl,
scan it, I'll scan it and send it to Cheryl.
and then we'll have it for the whole board.
That's something we couldn't do, by the way, last year, we got this guy now.
Yeah.
Now we can scan.
Well, isn't that nice? Okay, all right, thank you.
Motion to adjourn?
Second,
Is there a motion to adjourn? First, second, okay, we're all done.
in favor?
Oh, chair.
Before